Livingston and his team. So this is the following that I'm thinking. So first of all, I've been in kin since the ICO, and I understand this whole technology very well, and I understand a lot of the different players in the space, and I've had many suggestions to basically this kin project, and also uh, through me, Bre- um, um, Brandon came actually along because he found my tweet when I said that we need a Android developer. And the thing is that Flipcash or Code basically with Flipcash made the decision to remove kin and only use USDC for um I'll get to the comments a little bit later. They're coming in now. Was to The problem with USDC is that on the one hand it's pretty good because you can instantly for most exchanges send it in and out, so that solves the problem. I understand that, and a lot of people understand USD, and they don't have the fluctuation of the value of what's in the wallet. I completely understand that. So that is actually a good thing. So I would say having USDC as the main kind of way to hold for now money in the wallet makes a lot of sense. But a couple of things that don't make sense. And the first thing, of course, that on USDC you cannot build a community. Even Ted knows this. So my and I'm pretty sure they thought about this, but I think it's literally the best idea to tie the community back into it is allow a swap from USDC to kin and back, and now connected use a service which I think is called something with A. I have to search for it. It basically gasless transaction on Solana. So you could use that service in order to make a swap and have it gasless instead of using Sol for making the swap. So that would allow Flipcash to have a USDC to kin switch, and the analogy would be as if you were buying gold, so and or silver, and you also don't have a guarantee that that gold or silver is going up or down, or oil is going up and down, or whatever commodity, but you would at least have the option to say, okay, I like receiving and sending USDC and having that as the main thing, in order then to be able to send it out to, let's say, an exchange or whatever other wallet. But it should be that kin is the main option for switching from USDC to another coin, and having that as kind of like the gold standard of your wallet. And that would make a lot of sense. So you basically, on a balance overview, you would have the option to switch that. And what's funny is, and it's a fact, that a lot of these wallets that use Lightning have this option switching between Bitcoin and USDC. So this would be the same, except in this case, it's kin. And the good thing is you would reactivate the kin community, which is a hardcore community. And you always want to have, whatever product marketing you do, you always want to have some hardcore community. So you would get that back. Then you would get a lot of people, new people rallying behind the idea also of kin again, but nobody would blame kin for whether the product succeeds or fails, because USDC is the main is the main coin basically for the app. But kin would be the major other um, option, like I said, as if you were switching to gold. Then at the same time, if you were to go in a direction where you could launch any type of coin, like a pump fund within Flipcash, that would be fine. The problem is that the communities that are out there on a lot of meme coins, they're not reliable. They rug pull, they stop the marketing. They're not really decentralized. a lot of these problems. So what you would get is basically a whole bunch of coins that pump and fall all the time, if you do something like that, but you wouldn't have one stable where you're sure that you can park your money in. And that's a huge difference. Like, for example, if you say you make a lot of money, let's just say you make a lot of money, okay, in some coin, whatever, and then you're like, okay, now I want to put it into something else. Where do you put it? So you put it in gold, you put it in US dollar, you put it in, I don't, in some, in the stock market, you put it in, and you want to have it, you want to put it somewhere where it makes sense. And in kin it would actually make sense, so you would have that as kind of your gold alternative within the app, because you're missing out on all of the people that want to join a product like this. See, for example, when flipcash made the announcement, then people were like, okay, where's the community coin, where's the coin, how can we join? And launching another coin by discarding the kin community creates the same problem over again. The problem that Ted mentioned never goes away, because somebody will buy billions of it, right? And then they will just dump it on the market again. It doesn't matter which coin you go. And if you go from one coin to the next and you constantly keep switching because you're afraid that some people are dumping, then you don't understand the whole market. It's like as if you had a stock and you started complaining about, that your biggest shareholder is selling. It's complete bullshit. So basically, and it doesn't need that much money for all of the supply in kin to be accumulated by someone. It's just that it didn't have any marketing. There was absolutely zero marketing. So my biggest suggestion, and I think it makes a lot of sense, is to have USDC as the main coin. That's absolutely fine. But then have the option to swap it on the balance sheet, on the balance page, a window to swap it to kin. And then if you want to go the pump fund direction, then you would have all other coins below that, that you can swap to or buy or sell, whatever. But definitely kin would be always the first option to swap into. That makes a lot of sense, and it would reactivate the community. It would reconcile with everyone who was involved in kin. If you go with a new community coin that is not kin, you're going to get not only the same problems, but what you're also going to do is that you're going to still have all of the old alienated community members that they'll just stick around. I'm going to stick around and complain until forever, because it's just not been the right way to do this. And so I highly recommend not launching a new coin, but launching truly with kin again, but have USDC as the main thing. And it's basically the same app. Nothing changes except that there's a swap. And the good thing is that basically, we already know how to do the swap anyway. So, and if you now do it gasless with that, I have to find the name that Connected is using for the provider for the gasless fees. Then you don't even need to subsidize with the SOL to do the swap. So, in my opinion, that would fix all of the problems that are out there right now, in terms of like the old community, and at the same time creating some money, because otherwise, and give the people the option to switch how they want to switch. Because if you're just with USDC, then there's literally, like, that's not crypto, so it's constant inflation, it's freezable, has nothing to do with Satoshi Vision, all of these things. So, and let's not forget that there are already lots of wallets out there with lots of things that you can do, and they will get better and better and better. And I think that the idea is literally, the thing is that you can't blame the price of the token that made the app fail. I would say the other way around. Because the app didn't take off, the price stayed the same. And so it's exactly the other way around. And I think with USDC and Kin, you get the best of the both, or you get the best of both worlds. And uh, and there's still a lot of community members that have great ideas on how to make the communities good and large again and make them really involved. I wouldn't have a problem if Ted says, okay, we're going to do it like this. We're going to have the swap to Kin. I wouldn't have a problem with it to restart a new Kin community, make it super large, do a lot of giveaways like cash link giveaways. I would invest in that and make a huge community around that. And I over the years I literally learned how to make the Twitter and the Telegram community is really large. So that would be absolutely no problem. I'm sure there's a lot of other people who would join in. And and I don't see how switching to a new coin fixes that. Um, I do understand the idea of something like Pump Fund, where you would launch on top of the VM, you would launch like lots of other coins and have everyone have their each own community. But you need, if you really want to have something that financially changes the whole world, you need one sound money, and that has to be Kin. Everything else is just too. You need to like focus the firepower, and so I see like a balance sheet where you at the top, or a balance page where you at the top have USDC, then you can instantly swap to Kin, and then you have all the other options below if that's what's wanted basically. But to completely, the alternative is if you completely leave Kin out, then you will never have sound money in your wallet. It's just not going to happen. And uh, because one community token there, one community token there, one community, that's not sound money. Because in reality, actually, the more community tokens you launch, it's even worse than Weimar Republic inflation, because you're actually diluting. It's almost like a stock dilution. Like, let's say you have a community coin with 1 million tokens, and then you launch another community token with 1 million tokens, and then you launch another one. So you're actually doubling, and then 50% increasing, and then 25% increasing, and so forth. So the supply of the money, and it continues forever. So you have the same amount of capital that's distributed around thousands of coins. So the economics around it don't even work. So you need one clear coin which everybody agrees to, which has 0% inflation, is not mintable, is not freezable, runs on a network like Solana. Otherwise, if there's no agreement on top of that, it can't work. Let's see what the comments are. Any thoughts on Kin being listed on Probit? I don't know anything about Probit, so I can't say anything to that. Um, so what's going on with Kin? Well, the only thing that's going on with Kin is that we have a private small community of around 60 people that are still Kin OGs. And that Connected is launching a wallet, a social wallet on top of Kin. But it's one guy and he's busy and it's launching only on Android. So I don't know how the launch is gonna go and when it's gonna happen. And that's the only thing going for Kin right now. Now, I had a pause with DUNO, so I'm gonna continue eventually, but for now there's a pause on DUNO. The good thing is it's a decentralized, non-mintable, non-freezable coin, and that just continues running. So, but I really, since I've been with Kin and I haven't sold, and I've been with Kin forever, and I see what all the things that we went through, that actually I believe that Kin is battle hardened in a way where where people will say, hey, this bin has been around for so long, and especially now that the price is a little bit lower, people will be like, hey, this is an opportunity. And I think sometimes I have a feeling that Ted doesn't really understand crypto, because otherwise he wouldn't, change his mind all the time about these things. Um, so I would really welcome him including the community by offering this kind of swap within Flipcash. Personally, let's just say how I see personally with Flipcash. I downloaded it, I loaded it with a little bit of money, but I don't feel compelled using it. But as soon as it's connected with kin, I feel like pushing it. And I think that's also a stakeholder advantage. Like if I own a lot of kin, whether or and I support it as a retailer, then and I want to sell using kin, then it makes so much sense for me, because there is there's this incentive for it to grow from all kinds of angles. And if you start to flip around and be like, no, we use USDC now we use this, now we use that, and we constantly change everything, then the community has no chance to become strong enough. And I believe it's also a mistake to have Eric in the center of all of this, because he's gatekeeping everything, and it makes it a lot harder. Um, and it's like I see so much potential there, but it's like as if it's almost like you have a watch, like a Rolex watch, but you took out like two or three gears and the whole thing doesn't work. And what I feel is like that Ted is not seeing the two or three gears that he took out. It's like, or didn't put in. And so I would wish that there's more discussion with the community, especially guys like me. There's a couple of them that really know how to make this big. And I'm not going to give you any more tips, because as long as kin isn't in Flipcash, I'm not going to give more tips. But I have at least 10 to 20 things prepared where I could be like, hey, we can make this work. We can get it to 100,000 users. We can get it to a million users. We can get it to a billion users. But as long as there's kind of like this arrogant stance, we do whatever we want, we fuck over the kin community, I'm just not we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna put it out there. I had tons of ideas that we could do about this. And so I think what Ted underestimates is the hardcore believers and what they're capable of doing. And I think he should have went with the long-term vision instead of like becoming restless and removing kin. Because in reality, the problem is that they were like, this is not going fast enough. We need to change everything because it's not growing fast enough. I think in reality, you should have like laid like took a couple steps back, reassess everything, stay super cool, take the long-term vision, and be like, okay, community, what can we do to get this to 100,000 members or to a million members, users? And I think that has been missing. It's been more like they've done like their stealth thing, and now they think they're super smart and super arrogant in terms of like, oh, we're just going to do it like we want. And I'll tell you, even though they got now instantly like 1,000 downloads in like 24 hours, it's gonna fizzle out because there's no community. It's gonna fizzle out. Like there's nobody interested. And the first kind of like loading up of the wallet, that's kind of like nice. But what happens after that? Because you want to get the crypto people, and are they gonna like take 100 USD and put it into Flipcash? I literally don't understand like where the USP of Flipcash is right now. I used to get people involved, like friends and stuff. Now I don't see any reason to get them involved. But like, okay, do you need some money? Okay, I'll send it to you over with Phantom. It's like, haven't. Why didn't he just use it for Flipcash? The thing is, I understand the thing with using USDC. I partially understand it, especially because of the withdrawal thing. Because USDC can literally send everywhere, send it in and out everywhere, as like everybody supports it quickly. Whereas with Kin, you need the wallet to have it activated and all of this shit. But but literally, it's basically just the same. So they could have stayed with Kin. Um, I don't understand it, and now supposedly I'm not in the group because I'm banned there, but even though I'm one of the largest kin holders and the OG that has been one of the longest in it since 2017, and you know all of the stuff that I did with the SDK and microphoning and all of the other things and the onboarding of thousands of users. That's the thing. I'm not going to help them onboard thousands of users anymore. You know, I don't even feel incentive like to help build a community or something. And I find it pretty insulting to use the kin community for their marketing. Um, yeah, I think the best thing would be literally to put in, um, if they have USDC already, stick with it, try it out, but have kin as the main way to swap, because that would pull in all of the crypto users. Everyone would be like, okay, I did a transaction with USDC now. Okay, let me swap it to kin, like as if I were swapping it to gold, and make everyone responsible on that. And actually, it's interesting because, like I said, a lot of the LN wallets do exactly that. So if you're in El Salvador and you have like a Strike wallet or something, you can like switch from Bitcoin to USD. So it wouldn't be the first wallet to do this, but to have only USD, it's like what sense does that make? I mean, it's literally every other app already does that. Um, yeah. So it just doesn't make any sense the way it's now. And I think it would go a long way to reactivate this community through a simple swap feature. And then you can see where it goes from there. Because then you can run parallel. You, on the one hand, you get the benefit of the USDC, and on the other hand, you get the benefit of a passionate community. And I literally say, get rid of that, Eric. Make I think Code should make their own channel and communicate through their channel. I've said this to Ted directly, and because this is bullshit. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Or I am one of the largest holders of kin, and I get booted by Eric to not be able to be in the loop of what's going on. So um, I think Code needs to professionalize their marketing and go with the times with what's available now. Have their own channel and add kin as a swappable option in the balance page. It just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because then you get the best of both sides, and it's not a hard thing to do. Even the programmer on Android, he for connected, he did that like within a few days. He made the swap feature, so it's not very hard. Um, yeah, I'm gonna send this out to Ted, and I'm open to discussing it. I what I don't like is this whole idea, that throwing the community overboard, taking all of their feedback, all of their efforts, all of their passion, and just throw it into the dumpster and say like, "Oh, we tried to make it work." No, you didn't try to make it work. It's what you did the minimum, but you didn't try to make it work because we know what it takes to get this off the ground. And for that, all of us need to play together and just, yeah, just give it more time. There is literally, there is no reason to rush, in my opinion. So that's it.